Welcome to Outdrive, folks. I'm your host, Cliff Callis, and each week I'm bringing you actionable marketing insights you can apply to reach, connect with, and convert rural American consumers. Outdrive is powered by Callis, a full-service advertising agency with a focus on marketing rural America. Callis offers a wide range of integrated marketing services, including website development, search engine marketing, social media, video, and digital. We develop strategic and creative campaigns to build your brand and your business, and you can learn more about us at ecallis.com. Now join me in the front seat as we head out on the road to success. Let's go. Hey folks, welcome to Outdrive. We've got another great story to share with you today about life and work in rural America. A common thread that runs through our podcast stories is community. In nearly every episode, our guests mention it, we talk about the importance and significance of it, and we learn how community service is such a positive way to give back, and how many times it can translate into new business for an organization, the ultimate win-win. Our guest today is a leader in our community, and he's been involved in serving the community in a variety of ways as a youth soccer and baseball coach, school board member, business owner, and more. Brad Grupe is the owner and broker agent for TCI Missouri, an insurance agency serving the heartland, known in Sedalia as Town and Country Insurance. Brad's experience in the insurance industry goes back 30 years, although you can say he's been in it his whole life, taking the reins of his family's insurance business over the past few years. Stay with us as we dive into the insurance business, the role that marketing plays in it, and how community can be such a big part of it. Welcome to Outdrive, Brad.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm glad you're here with us. Summertime in central Missouri, and I think we have a lot to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about living and working in rural America. That's kind of the focus of our podcast. Definitely want to talk about the insurance business and the insurance industry because I think most people need it and it's important to most people. And then yet many people don't know a lot about it. So I want to jump into that some. And I want to talk a little bit about how you market your business and attract new customers. And then when I talk a little bit about your philosophy about giving back through community service, because I know that's very important to you as well. But let's just start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gotcha. Small town kid, grew up just east of Sedalia here, a little town called Smithton. Mother and father were both teachers, and my father was a coach and came back to this area to be close to family. That's what brought us back to the Sedalia area. Smithton's a small town, graduated 50 kids. You got to be a part of everything out there, every activity. It doesn't matter if it's sports, band, music, clubs, which there's not a lot of those, but you got to be involved in a small community. And I really think that set the tone for how I've tried to live most of my life is to get involved and be a part of as many fun things as you can. And so we did not have a family farm. My grandfather did, but we lived near it. And so I certainly got a chance to grow up around the farming aspects that occur out in rural Missouri. And I enjoyed that, even on the hottest of days. So went to Southeast Missouri State down in Cape Girardeau, took an athletic scholarship and went down there and played soccer for a little while. And then when they went Division I, switched over and started kicking footballs for a little while. Love sports, the whole family does. I married a collegiate gymnast. Sarah and I met when I was in school there and came back home, and we have 3 children here in the area. Been in the area here since 96. So I enjoy it.
It's a great life. You've been watching the Olympics any?
Oh, yeah. Last night was a big night here in this house. Marrying a gymnast, it's a lot of focus. Yeah, 2 nights from now, again, we will be locked down, and she gets serious. She was a high school All-American and a very talented collegiate athlete in gymnastics. And that stuff she still takes very seriously. And she left the house this morning with a USA red, white, and blue shirt on. So she's feeling it. And yeah, the gymnastics was a big part of our home last night.
Yeah, that was exciting. And what a great way for the USA to show up because they did in a big way. Well, you mentioned growing up, small town school district. I think there's a lot of positives to that many people may not realize because you get to be a part of so many different things. In a larger district, you sort of have to specialize because of the time commitments, but a small district needs people. They need bodies to have activities. So I think it's a great one. That way people get the chance to find out, what they're good at, what they like.
Yeah, I used to call it positive peer pressure. There was a lot of positive peer pressure in a small school, and it does exist in the big schools too.
Sure does.
But when you're in a small school, I'm going to play basketball because you're going to play soccer, and we're all going to play baseball. And then, oh, by the way, we still need people for that band. And so there's a lot of positive peer pressure that occurred, getting others to do maybe more than they intended to originally. So,
Well, and a lot of opportunities to develop friendships through multiple connections.
yeah. My three children have all gone to Smith Cotton, large high school, and they loved it. And we talked at one point in time, do we want to pursue a smaller school? And they looked at me like I was crazy. They loved all the activities and were involved heavily at Smith Cotton. And so I think school is truly what you make of it. And, dive in. It's a short window of time in your life. And I'd love to see these kids do more.
Well, in a district our size, there are so many opportunities just about to meet any interest or passion that a young person has. And, I want to thank you on behalf of, our community for wanting to be a part of the school board. I think it's so important. I know you get thrust into conversations that are challenging many times because it's hard to keep everybody happy. So I just want to thank you for doing that. I know that's part of your DNA is giving back.
Yeah, it is. I was asked by a really strong group of friends of ours to do that for a long time. And I wanted to wait till my kids were out of school. I just wanted there to be no even perceived bias in any way, which I can't imagine there would be, but I didn't even want the perception to be like that. I felt like after having three children go through the school that I could provide a positive outlook on it and give some feedback that was very genuine after three children coming through.
Yeah, we need your experience and insight to help lead this district forward. Lots of good opportunities ahead for us.
No doubt. Thank you.
One of the focuses in doing our podcast is to help people who may not be aware of rural America and living in rural America about who we are. Talk a little bit about how you would characterize the people of rural America.
I think it's a very hardworking group. Most of them come from very simple backgrounds, and everybody's got a story of how they've built whatever their family has. A very loyal group. I don't see a lot of people in rural America flipping very easily on topics, whether it be politics or their friendships or their loyalties in business. I think once they build trust in somebody, they stick with them unless that trust is very damaged. And I think rural America is an unbelievable place to raise kids, but most people believe wherever they're at is a good place to raise kids. But it's a very family focused area, and it's been the right fit for my family.
Well, I think that's a great characterization. I agree with everything that you said there. You mentioned family, and I know you kind of grew up in the insurance business. Your family had an insurance brokerage here in the area. And I know that you went away, but stayed in that industry. Were you always destined to join them one day? How'd that all work out?
No, maybe if he asked my father, he might have said that he thought this was going to happen, but this was not my plan, to be very honest with you. I wanted to go into sports marketing, a heavy interest in the sports fields, and wanted to be a college athletic director or a high school coach. I didn't pursue that from an education standpoint directly, but that was a goal of mine, was to get marketing and public relations degrees so that I could try to go after an athletic director position. And there was clearly a fork in the road. I was offered an opportunity at an internship at an insurance company in Columbia, Missouri, and I needed that to fulfill my major. So I accepted that. And shortly after that internship, they offered me a job. And going back to my senior year, I thought, man, I got a job in my pocket. Yes, I'll take that job. And my first week on the campus of SEMO after that internship, my favorite professor informed me that I was going to go to the UAB or to Tulane, and I was going to go be a grad assistant and follow my pursuit of an athletic director's role. So that was the fork in the road. And I turned that down. And insurance has been a very secure, it's very, very rewarding field. But I have pursued the athletic interest through coaching and involvement in other boards and areas to fulfill that part of me that still burns very brightly. That's what I wanted to do. I even interviewed with the NCAA at one time, and we considered moving back to Indiana, where my wife is from, and chose not to go down that path further and stick with what we were doing. So, no, that wasn't my original plan, but it's been good.
Yeah, well, I think you would have made a great athletic director, but I know you've made a great insurance guy too. Tell us what you like about it. What is it about insurance that you really enjoy?
I guess the greatest reward in insurance is taking care of people's needs. We are not a heavy sales organization in the way of being pushy. That has never been my style. That's not my brother's style. It's not anybody in our organization's style. We try to assess the client's needs and handle them the best way possible with the best product, the best price. And we focus on, the relationship side of that and then taking care of their needs. And so that's, I guess, what I enjoy the most about insurance. I mean, let's be honest, insurance is not something people want to use every day, maybe even every month or year, because insurance claims, bring about something's gone wrong. But handling those people's time of need, it can be very rewarding. And so that's probably the thing I enjoy about the most.
So what's it take to be good at it? Why have you been successful?
Well, I think people would describe me as a people person. I've never been afraid to engage in a conversation and talk to folks and get to know them. And I think insurance is all about trust and trusting that the agent is got the right product at the right price, the right value for the client. And I'm pretty good at developing relationships typically. I enjoy getting to know folks, and I think that's a key in this industry. You cannot be a shy person and be very successful in the insurance business because you're going to get confronted with situations and you're going to need to get out there and meet folks to build that trust.
So those relationships are so important when you're selling a service, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're the key. Because there's going to be bumps in the road, just like a marriage or just like a friendship. There's going to be bumps in the road. But if you've got a solid base of trust and a solid relationship, you'll get through it.
So tell us about Town and Country Insurance.
My father, after he got out of coaching and teaching, founded it in 1980. Over the years, we bought four other small agencies to bring them into our fold. We have three locations. We have one in Fenton, Missouri, where my brother is at, my business partner. We have one in Colcamp, Missouri, and then the office here in Sedalia, right by the fairgrounds. We represent over 30 markets. We're a broker. We basically try to assess the needs of the client, take it to market, see what the best product and price is, bring that back to the customer and see if it's the right fit for them. We've got a staff of 10 that includes some sales folks that do outside sales. And then we've got inside folks that not only handle service tasks, but also sales as well that comes in. We had a very veteran team whenever Aaron and I bought the business from Dad in 12. We were the young ones, and we had a lot of veteran staff that were really key to us and allowed us to get the business up to the next level. And now I'm kind of the old guy on the team. We've got a lot of young, talented folks in our staff and bright futures with all of them. So we're trying to help them along and build their book of business and their accounts.
So are there a certain kind of customer that you're looking to attract?
Well, from a personal line standpoint, which is all the home and auto and boat and lake houses and all those things, we try to attract multi-line accounts. We want to be the insurance agent for that family so that we're a one-stop shop for them. I don't think that insurance clients want to have a piece here and a piece there and one piece with that company. I think they wanted to have somebody they can build trust in and put it all in one spot. We try to be that for the client. And so we represent a number of companies that write all the lines that a client may need. So we certainly would like to attract more families and more clients that we can roll up a package for them. Now, on the business side of things, businesses, there's a variety of them out there. And farms we include in that business side because they're truly business operations. And we write a lot of farms in the Pettis County and Benton County area. And so I personally enjoy the farms because I get to get out back in the rural setting and get back in the area that I grew up in with those folks. But business comes from a lot of different areas to us. And we've got some clients that are extremely large, but we try to give them just as much service as they should expect, even if they were a very easy account. And so everybody deserves a level of service, and building that trust is the key to help you take care of their stuff.
I agree with that. I like that idea. It makes a lot of sense of kind of a single source for everything. And that's nice to be in that way. I think your business and our business are very similar. Of course, we're selling services, right? We're selling an intangible. And so it's not so much about features and benefits as it is about peace of mind or building a business, growing a brand. and what the benefits of working with somebody like you or I are.
I've used the phrase many times to clients, Mr. Client, when you put your head on your pillow at night, we want to know that you have a comfortable feeling that things are done right, that you got value in what you purchased, and that you trust us to help you when there's a time of need. And, it's so easy to hide behind computers and voicemails, and that is not our style. My cell phone is on my business card and I answer it. And if people have a need, I don't care what it is, we're going to do everything we can to take care of it.
So you mentioned trust. You've mentioned it multiple times. In your perspective, how do you build trust with a customer? Because it's critical.
Yeah, I think you have to take the time to show them you care. You have to take the time to assess their needs. We talk about this a lot in our business. We are an apples to apples type of agency. We're not going to come in and try to twist a client to something different than what they need just because it puts us in an advantageous situation. We like to start out exactly what they have, show them maybe offer opportunities or changes that could occur, maybe better their coverage or lower their price. We start out at apples to apples. We don't want to be an organization that ever comes across as if we're not doing the right thing for the client. And I think when you spend the time with clients to assess their needs and get to know them, you build that trust. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can build it if you go about it the right way.
That's a great approach. And I know that when we take on a new client, we take a similar approach. We're not going to go in and just change things overnight unless they just drastically need that change for whatever reason. But go in and assess the situation, build that trust over time so that you become a trusted advisor, which is, I think, what you guys want to be. Because again, I think when a person buys insurance, whether it's for a business or it's for their personal life, you have to have so much confidence in your broker that they're going to take care of you during that time of need. Because otherwise, we're dealing with $1 billion insurance companies, right? We're just a number. And I understand that. But with a broker, you have that opportunity to have that relationship.
That's right. I was speaking to a customer here a couple of days ago about this. There's somewhat of a triangle of trust. And if you really think about it, if you're in a real time of need, your lawyer is a person that can get you through some of those tough times. Your CPA can get you through some of those tough times, and your insurance agent. And that's what we call the triangle of trust, to where if a client is in a tough spot, one or maybe all those pieces can be key advisors to that business or that client. And so we're proud to be a part of that. It gets interesting at times, depending on the situation. But the lawyer, the CPA, and the insurance agent, not necessarily are in that order, but they can be key assets to a client.
Yeah, the three-legged stool. I'll throw the marketing guy right in the middle of all that because I know that many times our clients will talk to us about certain issues and things that are impacting them where we can have either advice or some guidance and directions on how to move down a path. So I like to be thought of in that same role and throw the doctor in there every now and then too. One of my lines that I like to throw out every now and then is marketing's not brain surgery. But actually, it sort of is because we're getting in the minds of people and surgically directing people down the line. That's one of them. The other one is it's not rocket scientists. It's kind of common sense. But, it's important, I think, to have analogies like that sort of simplify conversations and make them easier to understand where you kind of fit in and how you can help them as an advisor.
Yeah, I enjoy those roles at times.
So talk a little bit about how you market your business. How do you attract new customers?
Well, we operate in really two different distinct areas. Okay. I'll talk about our office in St. Louis first. Very much different. There's so much marketing, so much presence of businesses and materials that are out there. It's very difficult to establish a strong presence in a more metro area. Okay. Fenton is a suburb. And so we've tried to focus still on that same relationship premise. And my brother up there has established a very, very detailed group of referrals. He has reached out in not only Chamber of Commerce, but even some of our competitors and have reached out to them and let them know that, hey, we can be a resource for them on things that they just can't handle. Because some of our competitors, particularly those in the captive field, which captive is described as insurance companies that only represent one company. So your American Family, State Farm Shelter, some of those that only represent that brand, they can't handle everything. And so rather than be a adversary to those companies, we tried to build that bridge and say, look, there's things you're going to come across that you just can't handle. And we respect that relationship. And so Aaron receives a ton of referrals, even from our own competitors. That's been really good for him. It doesn't hurt that we have about 300 fraternity brothers over there in the St. Louis area that are constantly doing good things. And so that's really helped Aaron in that area. Now, on this side of the state, totally different philosophy. My brother, some of his clients he's never met because that's the fast-paced city world where they get a referral, they docu-sign, and they take care of business with sometimes never meeting that client. On this side of the state, completely different philosophy. We have an excellent location right there by the fairgrounds. We bought a beautiful sign that can 24 hours a day show our features and services and access into our company. We try to sponsor a number of things locally and get down to the grassroots of what helps families in this area. We have an office in Colcam that we really try to focus on Benton County and their efforts that we do down there to sponsor things and be a presence in that community down there. And two different ways of doing it. I mean, we have a website. It's beautiful. It's great, but that's not for everybody. We try to do, civic events and things to get our name out there, but not everybody attends those things. And so we take a bit of a shotgun approach on this side of the state to touch a lot of different things that may touch a lot of different people to enhance our presence.
I think that's a great approach because, the more people you touch, the more opportunities you're going to have. Because I have to think, once they get to know you, they're going to want to do business with you. And you're involved in a lot of different things. And that attracts people to you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
So, just generally, let's talk about business today. What do you see in business today or maybe in commerce that excites you?
The growth that our area is experiencing excites me a lot. When I was traveling with Nationwide Insurance, I was covering the whole state. And there were parts of our state that I was envious of. They had community centers. They had new homes being developed. And I'd come home and I was oftentimes a bit frustrated that we didn't have some of these things I was seeing in some of these communities. Even the town I went to college in, Cape Girardeau, I compared it to a lot, and Cape just continued to grow and prosper. And I'm starting to see those things here in our Sedalia area. That really excites me. And I'm ready for it. I think our community deserves to have, the restaurants and the activities and the things that we've all seen in some communities out there. And so that aspect of being able to help those folks with their insurance needs as our community grows, that excites me. There's a lot about insurance that concerns me, to be very honest with you. I mean, Missouri has become a very weather-prone state. There's a lot of concerns about, the cost. And our industry is taking rate increases right now. And that's a concern because they're pushing some things right now that they're going to make it tough on folks, from not only a price standpoint, but maybe even a deductible standpoint. If a big hailstorm would come through again in the Sedalia area like it did in 06 and 11, it could be really challenging for some folks because deductibles have been pushed higher. And then you got the whole other stuff like cyber and all the hacking that's occurring in businesses. That's scary stuff. And so we try to handle a broad-based amount of stuff, but some of it excites me and some of it's a bit of a concern.
What about AI? Is it impacting the insurance industry at all?
Other than the scammers, no. We have not seen a really influx of AI issues other than the scams. We received an email just the other day that looked like it was one of our companies, and it was requesting all the banking information again to make sure they had everything there. And essentially what they were trying to do was take over accounts so they could redirect funds. Clients' monies that were given to us in trust that we deposit in the bank every night that are swept to the companies the next day. They were trying to intercept that. That's very concerning. The cyber, this AI, this computer world of things that is a concern to our clients. It's a concern to me. And I don't know. It's not something I really want to see prosper. I'd like to see some of that fail,
It's darn scary. I agree with you about the cybersecurity and cyber insurance. And I know over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years, I guess, has become more prevalent for protecting our business. I'm sitting here thinking, do I have cybersecurity on a personal level? And if I didn't, what would I need? But how do you go about understanding the needs of a client to determine what kind of cyber insurance they need? Because there are, I assume there's different types.
There is. Yeah. For me personally, it's when assessing that business, it's how much client files are they in control of? How much client information are they in control of? And what type of information that is? You may be a real estate broker and you got listings on people's homes, but do you have all their personal info? Do you have their banking info? Do you have things that are impactful from a financial standpoint? Because from what we've seen, that's what the cyber folks are going after. The credit card companies, in my opinion, have stepped up their security to be able to shut off, stop the access when people have gotten in, when they've been hacked. And they many times stand behind the client and don't force them to pay some of those fraudulent charges. But on the other hand, there's a whole nother level if my business or your business all of a sudden has our banking information taken. And if we're in control of trust accounts like that real estate agent, for example, or if we're in control of escrow amounts that are getting ready to be sent to the proper banking, and that's all of a sudden swept and taken, that's enormous impact to a client. And so there are some businesses that don't need cyber. There are other businesses where I think it's essential that they have it. And you've got to figure that out. And that's part of the time that we spend with the client to make sure we know what their needs are. So,
So if there's somebody sitting out there right now that's thinking, I think I'd like to talk to Mr. Grupe about some of these things, how would they get a hold of you?
well, we're at 16th and 65, a very visible intersection right here in the middle of Sedalia. The state tells me there's 26,000 vehicles go through there daily, and we are right there on the corner. We've got a website, tcimo.com. It's Town and Country Insurance Missouri.com. We put a lot of development into that. There needs to be more. You can always do more with your website, but that's available to us. And then 660-827-5315 is the number we've had there since 1980. And then we also have links, of course, to Fenton office and to Colcamp.
Okay, there you go, folks.
Yeah. Or Brad at tcimo.com. That's my email. All of our emails are our name and then the website link.
Glad you threw that one in too. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's see, we've talked about living in rural America and how family kind of brought you back to live here, which we're glad that you did. We've talked about the insurance business and some of the challenges there. We've talked about marketing and how you market different in an urban area than you do in a country environment in which we live. We've talked about community service. What else would you like to share with our OutDrive audience today that you think they might find interesting or maybe even inspiring?
That's a tough one.
Save the best for last.
Yeah. Almost every organization that I've ever been a part of, whether it be high school class or fraternity or organizations, I tried to make a positive impact. I've tried to move up into a leadership role where I could further impact the direction of that group. And I think that people can do more, quite frankly. Life's short, work is work. If you're not finding something that you really enjoy to commit some of your extra time to, I personally just don't believe you're getting the most out of yourself, maybe even the most out of life. And I know that's an opinion, but I just have always felt like people can do more to help our area, to help folks around us. And so, whether it be run a youth baseball league or some tournaments to bring folks to our area in a way of baseball, I enjoy doing that stuff in the summer, or whether it be serving on a school board or a local board. I just wish more people could commit time to helping one another. And we have 3 wonderful children that we commit a ton of time to. We've got a daughter going to Arkansas tomorrow, going back for her sophomore year, and a son at UCM playing football and baseball, and another son that's graduated from college. It's kicking in the NFL. He's the New Orleans Saints, and so we're super excited about his second year in the NFL, and very thankful for his opportunities of all the children, and praying that it continues to go well. Those are some of the exciting, fun things that we try to do outside of work, is to contribute as best we can to some of those areas in our area and our community, and then chase the family stuff as far and as wide as we can chase it. So that's my off the cuff answer on some of that.
Well, I think that's a great answer. And, a lot of that comes from just being involved. And the needs are great. There's so many wonderful organizations in our community that need volunteers, time, talent, resources. That works both ways. There's a lot of satisfaction and gratification that comes from giving back, paying it forward. Again, we appreciate your community service. We congratulate you on a successful business and hope that there are many more years ahead. And we are looking forward to a second year in the NFL for young Mr. Grupe.
The Saints are coming to Kansas City on October 7th, week 5 of the NFL season. It's Monday Night Football. And the support that Blake has received here locally has been tremendous, unbelievable. And I don't know how many people are coming to this tailgate party I'm putting on up there, but it's going to be the best one that I can possibly throw. And so if anybody that can come up to that Chiefs game, come on. I'll let you know where we're at, and we're going to show everybody a heck of a good time.
We have our tickets. We'll be there.
Awesome.
Good things happen to good people, and Blake is a good person.
Thank you. We're proud of him.
Brad, thanks for being with us today. I've really enjoyed visiting.
Yeah, likewise. All the best to you. Thank you.
Folks, thanks for listening to Outdrive. I hope you've enjoyed our visit today with Brad Grupe, owner and broker at Town & Country Insurance. Come back again next week, and I'll take you down the roads of rural America, where it is heaven on earth.
Thanks for taking a ride with us on Outdrive. This episode is complete, so head on over to eCallis.com for more insight you can apply to help drive your business growth. And be sure to sign up for our free monthly e-letter, Outthink, for even more helpful content about marketing to rural America. Have a great day and keep on driving.